ladies and gentlemen, Dameon Nelson here at the U.S. Cellular Arena with a man who we have spoken about many a time on the Pro Wrestling Report. Are you going to do it for us?
The big wiggle.
Oh, yeah.
Milwaukee, baby. I'm here.
Norman S. Smiley, as we like to call you. Norman Smiley, right here on the Pro Wrestling Report. What do you think of Milwaukee thus far? It's been about a year since you've been here, right?
Every time I've been here, it's always been in the month of December or January, and it's too cold. I'm a Florida boy, and this is way too cold. Hence,
When's the last time you've been to a Waffle House?
I was just in Nashville. In fact, I actually had Christmas dinner in the Waffle House in Nashville.
Awesome. Jimmy was talking about the Waffle Houses. I heard a little something about that. I was lucky enough to be in Orlando a little while ago and saw those on every corner. So,
go to Nashville.
Norman, tell us a little bit about your start in wrestling. How did you get into the business and your graduation, if you will, to WCW World Championship Wrestling?
Well, I actually was a big fan of wrestling as a child. I grew up in London, England, and came to the States when I was 15. And initially I started wrestling. I was trained by Dean Malenko and his father. And
which moves did you get? Series 1 through 175 or 175?
I was sick on a lot of days, so I missed a lot of moves, but I did get the wiggle. Anyway, from 88 to 91, I spent a lot of time wrestling in Japan. And from 91 to 95, I went to Mexico and stayed there for four years. So I just kept busy and always learning and always working. Yeah.
And then your graduation to WCW, how did you get into that?
I started with them in '97. Okay. And when the company was on top of the world.
Number one at the time, no doubt.
They were making money, big stars, and Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hogan. And I became a part of that. And at that time, they had more than 100 wrestlers under contract. And it was very, very hard to make yourself noticed because there were so many big, established, talented names there. And that was the point that I actually came up with the wiggle.
Well, before the wiggle, you were hardcore.
I was hard. No, in fact, the wiggle came first, and then I was put into the hardcore division at the request of Vince Russo. He put me in there, and in the beginning, I really thought it was somewhat wrong for me because my style isn't that kind of, with the chairs and garbage cans and so on and so forth. But Vince Russo sat me down and explained to me, he said, Norman, that would be entertaining. A guy like you coming from England.
He said, Norman, that would be very entertaining.
Norman, you don't get it, Norman. Listen to me, Norman. So he basically sat me down and told me that he thought that would be funny, having a guy like me wrestling in the hardcore division.
And it was hilarious.
But the thing that was disturbing to me was that he wanted me to have the football pads and the helmets and hockey stuff. And the screaming, which I didn't like in the beginning at all.
But from a fan standpoint, from a viewer standpoint, that made it all that more interesting to have Norman Smiley doing hardcore matches and doing good in hardcore matches at the same time.
It was fun. It was one of those things that in the beginning I didn't get it, but as time went on, I could just see it materialize in front of me, and it was great. It was absolutely unbelievable.
So now the WCW days are behind you?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your final days in WCW. What were you feeling? What did you see? What was the vibe you were picking up?
Final days, it was like a stagecoach without a rider. I mean, just people were doing what they wanted to do. They weren't using a lot of the talent that they had. A lot of the talent was misused. And it was, what was the expression? The prisoners were running the prison. And that was the downfall, I feel.
And now you've graduated to the XWF. The XWF, which...
And it's new and it's in your face.
Like I get it. I didn't kick my tail, but anyways.
It's in your face, and it's different. I mean, we have a combination of established stars. We have younger guys coming up. The theme here is a fan-friendly. We get out, we meet the fans, we take pictures, we talk to them, and it's just totally different. We had our first house show last night in Hammond, and I thought that it was a great success.
For all reports indicate that it was as well, from a business standpoint and from a fan standpoint as well.
Great success. I had a very, very good time, and I know that the people who attended the show went away with smiles on their faces, and the next time that we're in Hammond, I am sure that they will all come back.
Did you do the wiggle?
Of course I did the wiggle.
Awesome. We got something to look forward to tonight. That's what I'm talking about. So now we like to play a little game. Whenever we talk to somebody, I mention a name and or event. Okay. And then you tell me the first thing. Don't sugarcoat it. There should be no stop sign between the brain and the mouth. Tell me the first thing that pops into your head. Okay. And I'm going to start it big, and I'm going to say Vince Russo.
I'm indebted to him because he gave me my start with the wiggle and the hardcore. So regardless of what people say and think about it.
I wasn't leading into anything with that. What are you implying there? What have people said about Vince Russo?
I know that he has a bad rap, so, but I'm indebted to him because he took time out and he thought of a gimmick for me, so thanks, Vince.
Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff, once again, falls in the same group as Vince. He hired me. So, it's a progression of steps. If I didn't have Eric, I couldn't have gotten to Vince. So, but to get a little bit more detail with Eric, he was a type of guy. Unless you were Hogan, Kevin Nash, or Scott Hall, it was like you couldn't even talk to him.
Really? Yeah. That's definitely not good from a business standpoint, you would imagine. Hulk Hogan.
The man.
Did you ever work? I think I remember you working a match with Hogan.
No.
Never happened. All right.
Never. But he's the man. Was the man, is the man, and will always be the man. And I think if anybody becomes a success in this business, they're always going to be measured next to Hulk Hogan.
Kevin Nash, Big Sexy. Let me fix my hair. Go ahead.
The coolest guy I have ever met. Is just very cool.
Maybe that's why he's Big Daddy Cool?
Big Daddy Cool. He's very, very cool. He's quick-witted, and he has a tremendous mind for this business.
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall I've known for years. Very much the same mold of a Kevin Nash. Quick-witted, got a tremendous mind for this business.
Have you ever met the Hardy Boys?
No.
All right, how about
no.
I'm a Hardy American. Yeah. Everyone else on the show, they hate it every time I mention them.
I love them.
But I could just see it. What a six-man.
Yeah.
Norman Smiley and the Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys. I don't know if I can do
the big wiggle, the swanton bomb, and the twist of fate. All kinds of fun to be had. Tony Schiavone.
Tony Schiavone, it was a guy who I grew up watching him work, so behind the camera I liked him. So.
Well, Norman, XWF. What about Vampiro?
Hey, Billy. Vampiro is my dear friend from Mexico for years, and I also, not too many people not know this, I'm the godfather of his first child.
Oh, really?
Yes. This is my good
Vampiro,
we are brothers.
Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report. Yeah, we're going to scare you away in just a minute because there's something we've done on the show for a number of years. It stems back to the WCW days when what was his name? Oklahoma. Ed Ferreira was doing. Oh, you're paying us too. Ed Ferreira was doing the the Oklahoma gimmick, and he would yell things 3 times in a row. So we would always say, and every week on the show we work it in somehow or another, Vampiro, Vampiro, Vampiro. People love that for some reason or another. So everybody but you, now we've picked you off.
I'm working with him. We don't do. Awesome. There you go.
Welcome, Vampiro to Milwaukee. Vampiro to Milwaukee? What do you have to say thus far about this city? You've been here before, but it's probably been about a year. What do you think of our fine city? Did you have any cheese or beer?
No, I don't drink, and I haven't had any cheese.
They have Sharps, It's non-alcoholic.
No, I like Milwaukee, man. Harley Davidson's and Happy Days.
Richie Cunningham.
Quickly enough, and we talked about we talked to Norman here about it earlier, but tell us a little bit about how you got your start in the wrestling world. In the business, if you will.
I was going to say, I thought that he was the only black guy I knew who didn't have any soul, but I didn't want to. What?
We could do the wiggle together if you want. Well, not together necessarily, but that's neither here nor there.
I was a fan when I was young, just like everybody else, and I was really into alternative music. And I was playing hockey at the time, and they just didn't mix. And I wanted to follow music and still stay in sports. And I started working for a company in Montreal in Canada, setting up the ring and selling pictures and that, hoping to get a break. And when that closed down, they gave me a telephone number in Mexico. I called it. I went down, and basically, literally the day I walked in the office, I saw him sitting there.
Didn't scare you away, though.
As homeless as he looks now.
And then you made your way into WCW. Tell us a little bit about your days in WCW. How did you feel about your utilization in WCW and the spot that you had?
It's like a double-edged sword,
And there was always that talk about.
I know he'll agree with me, but he won't admit it, But thank God that for 3 things. Financially, my family was taken care of for a long time. That was real good. And I got to meet a lot of nice people and go to a lot of nice places. But I think professionally, career-wise, it was probably the worst thing that I've ever done in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it's just the politics of that whole company were real bad, and I felt like I wasted 3 years of my life, to tell you the truth.
And Norman talked about that just a little earlier, too, about, people like Eric Bischoff who were basically unapproachable. Yeah. And,
I liked him. I mean, he spoke with him.
You're one of Eric's boys?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't one of his boys, but...
Bitches?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Norman.
I'm just with the lingo. That's all. I mean, nothing insulting.
It was real bad, you know, especially, you know, not because we're anybody, but I will say, like, you know, we've been together like 12 years, and we were brought up in the environment that if you come from another country, another company, and you're on top in that company, if you go somewhere, you'll get treated with respect.
Exactly.
That's just the way it is. And we went there, and I remember going up to like guys like, you know, Sting and Lex Luger, and it's like, hey, it's nice to meet you, and they wouldn't even put their hand out to say hello to you. And you know,
what's the point of that? You know, what's that getting them?
It got them $4 million a year, I think. But you know, it was real bad. I didn't enjoy it at all. It was depressing.
Yeah.
It was. I remember, like he said it. He's my best friend, and he's a real strong person, real strong character, and I've never seen him depressed about anything. And there were times that I just saw him walking around the parking lot with his head down. It was sad being there. It was depressing, embarrassing.
And then there's no doubt in my mind that I'm standing with two of the people who would attest to the reason that WCW is no longer here.
Yeah.
Because of the way they treated people and because of things that happened. You know, it had a wild ride. Definitely had a wild ride. It had a lot of top talent, a lot of superstar talent, like you two.
It had a wild crash and burn. They didn't have no wild ride. They didn't utilize anybody. And the guys who the $1 Million Babies manipulated the system well, and guys that wanted to work and continue on, you know, the torch wasn't passed and weren't given an opportunity unless you played politics.
I like my friend so much, he's so outspoken.
And, you know, and basically, unless you kissed the right ass at the right time, you weren't going anywhere. And now, the 3 or 4 guys who made the $1 million are sitting at home, unhappy.
Still getting paid.
And you know, the company's dead. Wrestling fans are disappointed. Wrestling has a rotten image in the public eye right now, and guys like us got to spend, you know, the twilight of our career, and we should be enjoying it, working to rebuild, open doors, and hopefully give the fans what they originally became fans for.
So let's play a little game. Played it with Norman earlier. I mentioned a name and/or event. I mentioned a name and/or event. You tell me the first thing pops into your head.
Let me start with the first one.
All right.
Conan.
We are now good friends. Nothing bad to say about us.
We are now good friends.
Yeah, we're now good friends. Everything that was bad is under the bridge.
Vince Russo.
Did you hear the
First thing that pops into your head. First thing, vamp.
Motherfucker. Yeah, you had.
I did. Eric Bischoff.
You know what? Friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, friend.
Kevin Nash.
You better just put the beat button on right now. Yeah, I got nothing good to say.
All right, let's spin it a little and let's say Bret Hitman Hart.
Canadian.
Fellow Canadian.
Is he a good Canadian?
He's a typical Canadian.
Yeah. Lance Storm.
I don't really know him that well.
All right. Sting.
Yeah, you just better come up with some better names.
A very sad and sullen Vampiro here on the Pro Wrestling.
The thing I respect the most about Sting is his belief in God, and he's a great family man.
Hulk Hogan.
Great guy. He was probably the only guy in WCW who actually.
Could have disagreed there, Norman.
He actually gave me the time of day, and the thing that we had a lot in common. You know, we both played bass guitar, so that was real cool.
As minor as they may be, but they do play bass guitar.
Tony Schiavone.
Beep.
Beep. Beep.
You know, that's not true. Tony, as charismatic as he is, he was always super cool with me.
There's his maneuver.
Yeah, we ain't got no beef. Yeah, Tony was always real super cool to me.
All right. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy.
Put the man over.
He chops like a bitch, and I stood toe to toe from him, and he told me to slow down. And I feel real proud of that day in Reno, Nevada, because everybody says, you know, I was the first time one of the new breed guys bridged the gap. It opened the door. You know, I worked with one of the old school guys, and I held my own.
The Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, what's up with those words?
Vicodins and NyQuil.
Alcohol.
Well,
is this a family orientation?
it was.
No, go ahead, get Insane Clown Posse. Go ahead, come back.
ICP.
ICP. I learned so much from ICP because, you know, they closed every single door. They even built doors. They even built walls to put doors in just so they can close it. And one of the truest things that they ever said, to climb the mountain to success, the only way to get there is you got to walk. And they got the whole world against them, and they did it on their own. And they definitely hold their middle fingers high, and they can do that.
And you wrestled quite a few shows for JCW, and I think even one here in Milwaukee at the Rave.
I'm the JCW World Heavyweight Champion, my friend.
Perhaps I should do my research. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should do.
Oh, can we book it right here?
You should do your research. Hey, you know what? There was a time when my friend and I, and it hasn't happened too much, that two best friends have been World Heavyweight Champions for two different companies at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
Mexico.
Awesome. Mexico.
So, Vamp, what do you want to see? What are you going to give us out of the XWF?
I'm at a point in my career now that I'm coming off a real serious injury. You know, I'm a new father, so, you know, part of being Vampiro 10 years ago, you know, a lot of it was how crazy I was in the public as opposed to what I did in the ring. And now, at this point in my career, you know, I've learned how to work a little bit. I'm a little bit older. I'm obviously a lot more mature. I'm going to be one of the leaders here. I don't know what I am. I hopefully can help younger guys come in. I hopefully can be one of the figureheads in this company that can run with the ball. So I definitely have a different perspective on what is entertainment. And, you know, I want to be one of the policemen in the dressing room just to make sure things are done right.
And I know that if he's a policeman, I'm in good shape, so he'll take care of me, as he always has.
I'm just going to make sure, you know, me and my friend get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I hesitated to jack anybody else to know before.
Norman,
thank you very much.
thank you, Vamp.
That's it.
That's all I got for now. I mean, we can keep going if you want.
Yeah, more names going.
All right. Let's talk. Let's.
You got 5 names.
5 names. Let's talk a little bit about.
Is this for kids and moms and dads?
Everybody watches this show, but you don't have to worry about cleaning it up.
I ain't worried about nothing.
Let's talk a little bit about. All right, I'm going to pull this one out of nowhere and make me nothing to you. Lex Luger.
You just pulled that out. You knew where that was coming from. You pulled it out of your ass. You can stick it right back in there. How about that? Lex Luger is, you know what, actually, as arrogant as he is, and much of a prima donna he is, when he worked with me, he was a super professional, and I learned a lot from him.
I would second that, too.
Yeah.
And I admire him for his dedication in the gym. I mean, I think he's in his 42, and he's in tremendous shape. Every day.
I mean, he's a real prima donna, but straight up, he's a super professional. If he likes you, he likes you. If he doesn't like you, forget about it.
This is a shout out for Lex. Ain't mad at you. I got nothing but love for you, baby. That's what you
Someone wrote a song about that, I think. What is that all about? WCW Superstars, you'd be.
You got nothing else? It's got to be wrestling?
All right. Bill Clinton.
He's my man. He's my idol.
He's my idol, man. He gets a lot of ass.
That's what I'm talking
You know what I'm saying?
My idol.
He's straight up. Listen, he leaves the country. He's got to police the world. He's got to let that stress out somehow.
And he's one of the boys because he can kayfabe like a.
He definitely must have been a wrestler in another life because he worked that. He cut the best promo on TV, and you all bought it.
George W. Bush.
He's got a set of balls, you know. Yeah, he's the man because you know he's up to bat. He ain't backing down. Gave you a chance. He's not even putting on the gloves. He went to your house and picked the fight. He's doing the right thing. I think he should be more aggressive. And I'm a Canadian. I don't even care.
To change the subject slightly, I like his daughter, the drunk one who likes to drink, because I like the white women. You know, as brother.
Oh, my Lord.
You know,
I waited 12 years for a little bit of controversy from my friend. But she's not old enough. She's like, how old is she?
Doesn't matter.
She's like 17, 18.
Yeah, no, she's got.
She's in Mexico.
And plus the Secret Service would watch it.
That doesn't matter.
You know, unless you like
doesn't
people
matter.
watching. You know?
There's no hesitating videotaping things here. She's got to be at least 48.
Carson Daly.
Who?
He's Canadian.
Who's that?
The guy that does the
TRO on MTV.
Well, I didn't take that.
You don't know who Carson Daly is?
Listen, man, MTV ruined rock and roll. MTV can kiss my ass. I'll knock all you bitches out. I hate you with all my heart. You ruined rock and roll. Thank God for Rancid, because punk rock is still around.
Here's an interesting thing. Creed. Have you getting a lot of heat lately?
I'm a punk rocker. Ramones, The Clash, Sex Pistols, and Rancid. All the rest, they all can kiss my ass.
All right. Have I met my quota of 5 names, sir? 4 more? All right. Let's Frank. Frank?
Yeah.
Sex Frank. He's Sex Pistols.
Sid.
Sex Pistols what?
Well, you're doing word association.
Yeah, I'm good friends with Steve Jones, and the Sex Pistols were my thing. That was it for me. They changed rock and roll. Everybody says they got Rolling Stone rates their album the number 2 most important album of all time. They put the White Album of the Beatles in front of that, which is not true because that album came out after the Beatles had already hit. The Sex Pistols changed the recording industry, changed fashion, they changed youth attitude throughout the world. So Sex Pistols should be number 1. Finally, 25 years later, you can walk into a mall, and that's the shame of things. You can go into any hot topic and all of a sudden become a punk rocker with $100. You don't have to worry about walking down the street anymore and getting your ass beat because you're a skinhead by a bunch of redneck construction workers.
All brothers.
All brothers. Guns of Brixton. Sex Pistols, number 1.
Norman, what's your favorite type of music?
Flock of Seagulls, you know them?
Sure, the guy with the hair.
There you go.
Great hair.
Flock of
Frank's
Seagulls.
Italian. He knows the guy.
Iran, Wishing. Yeah, there you go.
No Backstreet Boy fans.
Oh, hell no. What? That's it. We're concluding this interview. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for coming on. It was a pleasure meeting you. Definitely fun, and definitely going to have a good time tonight at the XWF event. It looks like, I tell you, the hype level around here has been awesome for this event. People are looking forward to it, and they want to see their old stars back in the ring and people who they know.
The potential is here. The talent is here. All we just need is the blessing from the man above.
Very true. Thank you very much, and the best of luck to y'all in all your future endeavors.